So the new album, I've listened to it actually already a couple of times.
Okay.
I got it from the label, and really liked it. It was it carried the usual Ayreon characteristics or the sound. But at the same time, I think it sounded a bit new as well. So
I hope so.
Yeah. So now that it's ready, I think it was a long project again. How do you feel about it? Are you completely satisfied with the result, or do you now see? Is there anything that you would now do differently?
Well, usually this is my insecure face. It's always the same, But the moment I'm ready recording everything, I'm my own boss.
Yes.
So I decide when it's ready, I have no pressure from the record company, and I'm a perfectionist, so I only send it out to the record company when I'm completely happy and ready and finished. But, then you have to wait for 3 months, and then I always get insecure, like, oh my God, maybe this or maybe that.
Yeah.
But now, as you may know, we put the first track on YouTube, The Day That the World Breaks Down.
Yes.
And reactions are so great, and there's already 300,000 views within a short time. And, so I'm definitely more confident this time than other times.
Yeah. And obviously you now released the second single as well, the Everybody Dies song,
right,
which was just
this
out.
is a bit more of a challenging song, Everybody Dies. Like The Day the World Breaks Down, it's got all the familiar Ayreon styles, it's got the atmospheric parts and the bluesy parts and the melodic parts and the heavy parts. So that was kind of a safe bet, I knew people would like it, but Everybody Dies is a bit more of a difficult song, it's a very complex song. So it's maybe a bit more scary to put that one on YouTube, but so far the reactions are good.
Yeah. So I read the story on the album, which is always the epic side of your albums. It's set in billion years in the past, right? And in some other universe again. So can you tell us a bit about that? What was the story behind the album?
Well, it's basically the same universe, but a different galaxy.
Okay, that's cool.
So it's not in the Milky Way; it's in the Andromeda galaxy. It starts on planet planet Alpha. I don't know my own story.
Okay.
On planet Alpha, and they are facing the same ecological and political problems as we are facing here on Earth. So the president instructs the computer mainframe, which is called the frame, to solve the problem, and the frame concludes that the problem is mankind, so the Alphans. So they decide to shut down all the life support systems, which means that the whole population of the planet will slowly die. So the only thing they can do is leave the planet for another planet. So basically that's the start of the story.
Yeah. So again, you have several different singers and players on the album, as usual. A lot of impressive vocalists and interpreting the story. So what I was wondering was how much time or how difficult it is to kind of adapt the different voices, the different characters. Is it like ever that you listen to some recording, okay, this doesn't sound like the character I had in mind? So does it take a lot of arranging for you?
Well, the funny thing is that I write the characters on the singers.
Okay, so
I first choose the singers, and then I base the character on the singer. For instance, I've got Florians on the album. She always wanted to be a biologist, so I wrote the part of the biologist on her character. Same with someone like Tobias, who's kind of like this cocky person,
Yeah.
He would be perfect for the captain. So I for me that's easier to do it the other way around. So basically, I come up with the music first.
Yeah.
And then I let the music inspire me for a story. Then when I've got the music and the story, I start looking for the singers who fit the style of the music and the story. Then I choose the singers, and then I divide them over the album, like I want this singer there, and that's a big puzzle, of course, when you have 11 singers. And then at the very end, when I start writing lyrics, then I write the characters on the singers.
Okay. So how much time did it take, the actual recording of the album this time? Was it long?
All in all, composing, recording, mixing, producing, mastering, everything, I think about a year, maybe a bit longer than a year.
So it's a long time, yeah.
Always, yeah. But I have my own studio, so I can put as much time in it as I want, and and I don't have holidays and I don't have weekends, so it's like 7 days a week, just always perfecting things.
Yeah. So if you compare the songs that are on the finished album to the first, I don't know if you do demos at all, or is it just...
Not really, because I have my own studio, so basically everything I record I keep.
Okay.
I don't really have to do demos for anyone, so... But I for instance, I do guide vocals, like friends of mine, they sing guide vocals, which then I send to the real singers.
Okay.
The original, if you can call it demo, I always call it a premo, because it's not even a demo, is usually just one sound and drums. This time it was just a Hammond and drums. That was all I had.
Okay.
So that's what it starts with, Hammond and computer drums.
Okay, yeah.
And plays all the parts, plays the bass parts, plays the guitar parts, plays the vocal melodies, and then I start adding things.
Yeah, okay. Does it ever come a time when you think, oh, I wish I had some other person here to help, or some other ear to listen to this, or do you think that you are the best person to judge your own music and your style? Because this is interesting. And also, does it ever get like, do you think you are too much inside the music, so to speak, to see it?
Total control freak, egomaniac.
Okay, so that is the reason,
I totally prefer to work on my own.
Yeah.
I can't work with other people unless everything is finished, and the singer comes in, and then I welcome all the input I can have, Even if a singer completely changes the melodies, that's fine, as long as the final result gets better.
Okay.
But no, I do have a circle of trust, which means that it's about 10 people. It's friends or family, basically non-musicians.
Okay.
So journalists, or my brother, or my sister's kid, or whatever, and I always send them every step that I do. So, like I told you, the premos I send them, and then I send them the guide vocals, and I do welcome some output, some input from outside.
You never thought about, okay, I'm going to get another producer this time. You're just going to do it.
No,
okay.
That's what I do.
Cool.
I think it would be like asking Stephen King, what if you come up with a story and have somebody else write it?
Yeah, true. That's right. Okay. So the new album is still a bit time before its release. So what are your plans regarding after that? Do you plan to promote it? You have some live shows coming next fall.
Yes, right. Yeah.
I know that.
In September we will do the first ever Ayreon live show, which is 3 shows here in Holland, and it will be an Ayreon best of. So we will. It's not directly connected to the source. We will play 2 songs of each Ayreon album.
So
and it was amazing. It was sold out within a day. I never expected it to sell that fast.
Okay, that's good. Excellent.
Yeah, 9,000 tickets gone in a day.
Are there any plans to film it or do a DVD?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
We will film 2 shows with like 25 camera people and 30 cameras, and that has to be documented perfectly.
Yeah, because I don't think there's a plans for any world tours with this lineup.
No.
Although everyone would hope it, but
well, no, it's 16 singers,
Yeah.
Getting this on stage just for 3 days takes 2 years, so we've already been working on it for a year to arrange everything. So no, it's a big job.
So I understand you will be playing actually with this show as well on stage, making a guest appearance at least.
Yeah. I will not be a part of the band.
Okay.
Because basically the guitar players are like way better than me.
Okay.
And no, playing live is just not my thing. I hate it. I have stage fright, and and I never practice and stuff. So but you know, I have to make an appearance. I have to.
Yes.
That one.
People expect it, I think.
Yeah.
So you will be playing stuff from all the Ayreon albums. So if you compare this new one, The Source, to, for example, Into the Electric Castle or Actual Fantasy, or my personal favorites are the Flight of the Migrator and Dream Sequencer albums. That I love those two records.
Right.
Absolutely. So if you compare this new album to those records that I mentioned, do you think there's a difference? What is the main difference or are they just continuation of the same moving forward?
Well, all the albums you mentioned are already very different from each other.
Yeah.
You know, Actual Fantasy didn't have a concept, didn't have big names, only 3 singers. That was a very different album from all the others. Of course, the Universal Migrator albums, your favorites, they were split in 2. There was one that was like the soft atmospheric songs, and the other that was the big heavy songs of Flight of the Migrator. So yeah, each album I always try to make it different. You know, sometimes by inviting just new singers I've never worked with, or sometimes by working in a different way. Like the previous album, Theory of Everything, I just went into the studio without any ideas and just started chronologically building the songs. I never did that before. As a result, that album is quite difficult. You know, it's not a catchy album, and it doesn't have. It's not very structured. It's a very adventurous album, definitely not an easy album. And I think compared to that album, I think this new album, Source, is more catchy. It's more streamlined. It's more structured. I also think it's a bit more guitar-oriented. It might be more in the Flight of the Migrator style, you know, which is also a bit of a heavier album. But having said that, there's still plenty of folky and acoustic and electronic and classical parts on it.
Yeah, but also what you said about the 2 sides, the softer and the heavier side, that was good because, you know, it's all the best parts combined, I think.
Yeah. On the Universal Migrator, basically I split it up, and here you can hear it in each song. You go from soft to heavy to soft to heavy.
Yeah, good. So you mentioned stuff about the catchiness and you know that, and the music you are playing is not exactly tuned for radio. Do you think, or have you ever thought about, you know, it would be cool to get Ayreon song on the radio?
Of course, it would be cool.
Yeah.
Of course, you know, everyone would want that, you know, because then you get a lot of attention. You know, it's the difference between selling 100,000 albums and 1 million albums. If you have a hit single. But I'm afraid that if I would try to write a hit single, you would get like this whole album with you know, with experiments trying to be commercial. And I did that before when I was still in bands. You know, we tried to make songs that we thought were mainstream for the mainstream, and they all failed. You know. So yeah, if a song would make it, that would be cool, you know. But I don't think I would want to force myself to write a song like that. Also, a song like that can spell the end of your career, you know. There are so many examples of bands that were just known for their hit single, and that's all that this band is about, and they will never reach that height again. And I'm glad I never had that. I'm glad I never had the big mainstream success, you know, because you're here today and gone later today, and with the stuff I do now, you know, I built up this really loyal fan base which I think is way better.
So, actually, I was reading the Actual Fantasy, the reissue of the album, and there, I think, you had put out these letters from different record companies that rejected the Ayreon project. So I think that was a good addition, because I read them. So that lead to, and now actually you have been in some great labels, and Ayreon is very, very popular in that field. So, how do you feel about looking back to that time when you were trying to get that record deal, and nobody understood what you were coming from?
No, yeah. I understand people not understanding.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and it was funny because like maybe 20 or 30 record companies turned me down, and they all said the same. It's great quality, and we love it, and we want a copy at home and listen to it, but we're not going to sign it. You know, because those were the days in the early 90s. It was days of grunge, and everyone was following trends, and everyone was afraid to experiment, you know, because it simply didn't work. And I had to build it up too. I mean, the first Ayreon album was a minor success. It wasn't a huge success. It was enough of a success to continue. But yeah, those were just hard times. People were a little bit more narrow-minded back then, especially the 80s. You know, there were all these rules, like hard rock wasn't supposed to have keyboards and all that shit. You know, I think people are all more open-minded now, and so yeah, I understand why record companies turned it down.
Yeah. So couple things to round it up for the future. Any more singles or videos coming from the new album that we should look out for before it's released or after that?
Yeah, definitely. This time, the last album I didn't have any videos at all, and this time we have loads. Okay. So we have one more video coming this month, which is a fan-made video. We did a contest, and we got like 200 reactions, and we will choose 5 of the best videos. It will be a video to the song "The Source Will Flow," which is like a very soft, atmospheric song. So I think that's a nice contrast to the first 2 songs that we featured. And then there will be a third video at the release of the album, so that's in April. It will be a fourth, basically. There will be another lyric video. And then there's like a 5th lyric video, which will be released just after the release of the album.
Okay, so there will be many actually.
There will be many, because the guy who did these lyric videos, he's so fantastic, you know, he's a guy in the US, and he works really fast, and he did such a great job that we were like, okay man, let's do lots of them.
By the way, who did the cover artwork for the album? It's pretty interesting as well.
Yeah, well usually I work with a painter, a Belgian painter called Chet Brettels, but I felt that he was more of a fantasy artist.
Oh, yeah.
And what I needed for this story was more science fiction, so I was Googling sci-fi artists on Google Images, and I came across this guy, a French guy called Jan Suetre, who did all this very detailed, dark industrial stuff. And I looked on his page and I saw this image of the woman underwater with the tubes, and this image immediately inspired me to come up with the story.
Good. It's impressive cover artwork, I think.
So, yeah. I love it.
Catches the attention right away.
Cool.
Yeah. So, obviously now you are focused on Ayreon, you have shows coming up, an album, so probably not too much else going on. So, any plans for the future, for any of these other projects? Have you thought about what will happen? Well,
like next? You said, you know, I'll be pretty busy.
Yeah, obviously.
Now, then I'll be pretty busy with the live shows. And I basically never plan, because planning just limits me. I usually just wait for inspiration, and then I got some ideas, and then I go to the studio, start recording it, and then it always slowly develops itself, and I never know what it's going to be. Because the moment I decide what it's going to be, I start limiting myself. So I always wait as long as possible. So yeah, anything is possible. No idea.
Okay, that's good. It's open to the future.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I think we are pretty much done. So maybe the last greetings for the readers of Metalliluola website from you.
Well, thanks very much for all the attention and all the positive comments, I'm getting, and the warm reception. It's fantastic, and I always like to be in contact with the listeners. So I'm very easy to reach on Facebook or on my website. So let me know what you think of the album. Even if you hate it, I can take it.